What's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about the different trim levels on the TJs. I've gotten a couple questions asking what trim level should I look at getting? Should I get the SE, Sport, Rubicon, etc.? So today we're just going to be talking about just the different trim levels, kind of what engines come with them, and that sort of thing. So I did a full in-depth video kind of going more into detail on every single option that each trim level can get. So if you want like a super in-depth video, definitely watch that video. But if you just want a quick overview on kind of just the engines, it's kind of my recommendations on like what you're going to use your Jeep for, or like what you plan on doing with the Jeep, like modding and things like that. So to start out, the SE model, which was 97 to 06, which is Project 4-banger over there, that has the 2.5 liter four cylinder, and that was from 97 to 2002. In 03, they switched to a 2.4 liter from 03 to 2006. So that's something to consider, is that the four cylinders are a lot slower than the six cylinder. So if you're planning on going with a little bit bigger tires and you don't want to re-gear and you kind of want just a little bit more pep and a little bit more like acceleration and stuff like that, definitely the 4 liter. If you can get an SE for a reasonable price, it's still a good Jeep. If you look at Fred Williams, he built a 2.5 liter Jeep tube stock, and with the correct axles and gearing and everything like that, you can make the little 4-cylinder work for you. So he obviously has a different motor now, but so that into consideration, if I were planning on building like a kind of like a crazy Jeep, I'd probably want to start with the 4 liter. But if you're just looking for a Jeep, like for my sister, she just likes having a Jeep, not super modded, just nice wheels and tires, and you just feel like driving around town and you don't really care a whole lot about speed or anything like that, and you want to save a little bit of money, you can definitely go with the 2.5 liter in the SE. So in the last years of the TJ 05 and 06, the SE models could option the 4 liter. So definitely look at, when you're looking at getting a Jeep like that, to find out if that Jeep has a 4 liter in it. So it's a very rare case that the SE would have a 4 liter in it. But so now the step above an SE would probably be the Wrangler X. Now that was from 2002 to 2006. Now those came with a 4 liter. So if you kind of look at it as basically an SE that comes standard with a 4 liter, but you couldn't option a Dana 44 rear axle in that, and it's a little bit more bare bones, I guess, but you just have the 4 liter as standard, which is kind of cool. So the X is kind of for someone who maybe doesn't care about all the creature comforts that the other Jeep models come with, and there's not that many on the TJ, but so that's just something to consider too. The X's are kind of just a step above an SE. You get the 4 liter, but you can't get the better axle in the back. And then next is gonna be the Sports. Now these were from 97 to 06. That's what mine is. So it comes standard with the 4 liter. You can option the Dana 44 rear axle, which mine has that. And Sports can come either very bare bones or a little bit more options. So my 4 liter is kind of like my Sports kind of like a weird combination, because the guy who originally bought it optioned the Dana 44 rear axle, dual top, but no AC and no cruise control. So it's a pretty bare bone option Jeep, except for like some of the main stuff that I'm really happy he did. But yeah, so the Sport is for someone, I think for the mass majority of people. You do get the 4 liter, which is nice, and then most of the Sports do have like cruise control and AC and all that kind of stuff, so you have a little bit more creature comforts in that. So yeah, so for the mass majority of people, I would say the Sport's probably the way to go. They're not super expensive to get a Sport, but you get the 4 liter, which is super nice, and you can get some options that are really nice to have. So that's what I would say. If you're looking at getting some bigger tires, stuff like that, maybe not 35s if you have the Dana 35 combo. You might want to not go super big tires if you're going to be beating on it off-road. If it's a street Jeep, you're probably fine. But so that, considering a Sport is probably for most people the best option. So the step above the Sports are going to be the Saharas. Now they made two different they basically, the year split was in 03. They kind of did like a refresh of the TJ, so they kind of changed the interior, they changed the seats, steering wheel, stuff like that. So in my opinion, the best Saharas are from 97 to 2002, and those are my favorite because you get the cooler seats, you get the green and tan seats, which are really cool, you get a tan dash, you get body painted flares that are a little bit wider than the stock TJ flares. You get you can option a Dana 44. It comes with air conditioning, cruise, all that kind of stuff. So most of that stuff is already kind of done. So it's kind of like I guess the top tier in those years as far as like creature comforts, like as AC, I guess that's a big deal. But so that's just something to consider. I prefer the Saharas. Now the Saharas are for someone that kind of wants everything that a TJ could possibly have, like AC and all that kind of stuff. And I think a more unique, cooler interior. Now I prefer the 97 to 02 TJs just on interior. I like the seats of those years the best. I think they look a little bit better than the newer ones. That's just kind of my opinion. But the 03 to 06s tend to go for a little bit more money. Obviously, they're a little bit newer, usually less miles, so that's kind of why they're a little bit more expensive. So, and then lastly, you're going to be the Rubicon. Now, the Rubicon is the top tier as far as TJ goes. Those are from 03 to 2006, and those obviously standard 4-liter. Dana 44 front and rear axles, locking axles as well, and a better transfer case, bigger wheels and tires from the factory. So it's kind of like the top tier, most off-roady version of the TJ. Those go for a lot more than a sport would go for. So the person of Rubicon is for is someone who definitely wants the most off-road capable TJ, like straight off the bat, where you could throw a little bit bigger tires on it and be totally fine. And you like having a locking axle, which is kind of cool as well, but you're going to pay more. So if you're willing to pay that extra premium for a Rubicon, definitely go for it. But if you plan on swapping axles anyway, I would save the money and get a Sport or a Sahara, something like that, and then kind of building it up that way. But the Rubicon is kind of the top tier version of the TJ. So that's kind of a quick comparison between all the different models. So like I said, SE is more of just like a toting around town Jeep. It's really relaxed. It's not a very intense driving experience. It's very slow. It's cool though. I do enjoy driving Project 4Banger. It just kind of gives you like a different experience. But definitely a Sport or a Sahara, 97 to 02. Those are kind of my favorites. They're a little bit cheaper than the newer TJs, which is kind of nice. And I prefer the older style seats anyway. But yeah, so anyway guys, I hope this video helped you guys out. If you guys are looking at getting a TJ, kind of which trim level kind of fits your needs. They're all pretty similar, but there's just a couple different things that kind of make them a little bit different, that hopefully I kind of helped you guys figure out what kind of works best for you. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, please give the video a thumbs up. Definitely consider subscribing. That helps me out a bunch, and we'll see you guys in the next video.